One of the little-known benefits of a spiritual master is that fate can be changed. A person's line of destiny can be altered if the individual has grown spiritually. If an individual has grown enough spiritually, then certain experiences of karma are no longer necessary. Often these can be worked out in the dream state. Sometimes people who are supposed to have a certain experience out here get it perhaps in a dream. And they wake up the next morning saying, "What a vivid dream. Sure hope it doesn't happen here." It won't, because it has already happened. They've paid whatever they owed. How to survive spiritually in our times. Some 8 years ago, doctors told Rebecca that she was barren. She never would have any children. She's a member of Eckankar and has come to believe in her dreams. Despite this prognosis by the doctors, she still wanted to be a mother, to have her own children. And so she opened herself and she said, "You know, if there's any way for me to have my own children, please let it be so." She determined at this time that she would begin living her religion. And so as a member of Eckankar, she began to do her spiritual exercises every day. She read a lot of Ek books, and she practiced the Ek principles as best she could. Now you see what she was doing. She was spiritualizing herself. She was doing everything possible to put the most positive light on everything in her life so that it would uplift her, because she knew that then the power of God can get through more easily. So one time she did a spiritual exercise which she felt would help in this case. She used the visualization technique in contemplation. She was trying to imagine herself in a place of healing. She awoke in a dream and found herself in a large hospital on a higher level of existence. A doctor examined her, took her into the operating room, and operated on her. And after it was over, and she was about to be discharged, the doctor handed her a prescription. He told her the name, and she memorized it. Just at the moment that he mentioned this prescription to her, she felt this movement in her lower abdomen. Something moved inside her. And then she awoke. She wrote down the dream in her dream journal. And then on a separate slip of paper, she wrote the name of this prescription. And then she went back to sleep. Next morning, she got up and she began to call around to all the pharmacies to try to find this particular drug. Everywhere she tried, the answer was always the same. "Madam, these drugs are very rare. So you can only get them at the regional hospitals and some big private clinics. It was a new drug. But you know, then she looked at this, Rebecca looked at this and she said, you know, I can't really go up to a doctor and say to him, here's my dream prescription. Would you fill it, please? So she said, I'll let this be. She said she'd wait for God's own time. She went about her life, and she had practically forgotten about this dream. That one morning she awoke with this terrible toothache. Her gums were swollen, and it felt as if her teeth were going to fall out. So she got permission from her supervisor at work to go see a dentist at the dental clinic. When she got there, the dentist looked at it and said, well, you've got quite an infection here, and I'm going to give you a prescription. He gave it to her, mentioned the name, and it was exactly the same drug that the doctor in the dream state had given her. A very new, rare drug. So she went home with a prescription, and she said before the bottle was used up, she was pregnant. Now this is years later. It's the sort of story that is good because her child is now a little over 7 years old, but for her this was proof that the Mahanta was listening and that the Mahanta is always with her.